There are no shortage of maniacs in poker, but in Texas? My God.
Week 36. What are we doing here today, Matthew?
We're going to play some cards.
That's really all it comes down to, buddy. We just gotta get the cards in the end, make it turn out good. I'm coming off a scorching loss because I'm dog shit at Texas Hold'em. This guy...
We head inside and I buy in for $2,000. The goal today is quite simple. Don't dust money. That's literally it. In the first shuffle of the night, I look down at pocket sixes in the cutoff. I raise to $20, then get 3-bet by the small blind. However, the sizing that he chose was smaller than my wee-wee when it gets cold. When action folds to me, we are going nowhere. I make the call. Flop comes Jack 5-4. Small blind continues for $120, nearly a pot-sized bet. We're still ahead of a lot of holdings like any random overcards, and this is a standard call, so that's what I do. Why are we folding? This is like a great flop for our hand. In my head, I'm thinking, man, this is so early in stream, I really don't want to lose money. So I just fold. Oh, God, I suck at this game. In this next spot, On sits down. I said, hey, do you want to straddle? He's like, oh, yes, yes. I said, perfect. There are 2 limps to me, and I look down at ace-5 of diamonds on the button. Certainly going to be raising this one up. I make it $50. On looks at me and says, Corey, you little shit. You're going to raise on my straddle, my first hand? I think not. He 3-bets to 150. Action folds back to me. I look at him and I'm like, welcome to the table. For this price, with a suited ace in position, I am going nowhere. I will see you on the flop, sir. The flop comes 4-4 deuce. On checks it over to me. Not really ruling out that he doesn't have an overpair. This board is so dry where he could check, I'll place a bet, and then he's like, psych bitch, check raise. Now I have to play a bloated pot with ace high where I might actually have the best hand. Plus, I have equity. Let's just realize it. And this dealer is like Steph Curry in his prime, because the turn rips off a magical 3. That is a bucket. We improve to the effective nuts, and even better, On is done checking. He bets $150. Here, there should just be a raise 10 times out of 10 and twice on Sunday for the Lord, but I said, you know what, On, I want to make sure you lose the absolute minimum, so I call. We go off to a river, which peels off the 6 of hearts. Once again, On bets, and dude, I butchered this hand. I genuinely suck at poker. He has $1,500, and it's a shame that it's not going all in here. I raised to $750, basically on my knees begging and praying that he doesn't fold. On said, yeah, dude, I have pocket kings. Of course I'm calling. He snap calls. I show the basic nuts. I miss so much value. Jesus Christ. Next, we have Jack 10 of clubs in the cutoff. Hijack raises to $40. I'd rather play this pot in position heads up rather than going... I don't know. I don't want the entire population of Iowa. I put in the 3-bet to 125. Only the hijack makes the call. Flop comes ace-king 4 with 1 club. He checks to me, I put in a small bet, which I would do with 100% of my range, and he makes the call. Going off to a turn card, which improves us in zero shape or form. However, think about it from the opponent's perspective. If there's a kid who bets $80 in the flop, you're like, this kid's full of shit. So you make the call, check turn, and then he bets $300. You're like, okay, this kid might not be full of shit. If I had ace-4, ace-king, pocket aces, pocket kings, ace-queen, I'd continue betting. Additionally, there are a lot of hands that he's going to call flop with that will fold to a turn bet. So once again, I place a bet, this time to the tune of $325. This bet is really just trying to get King X holdings to fold. This guy seems uncomfortable. He's like, no. But without too much thought, he decides to make the call. And in my head, it's pretty clear that he has an ace. I don't even know if he would call out of position with ace-jack or ace-10. So I really just... It feels like ace-queen at this point. I don't think I'm going to get that hand to fold on the river. It's like one of the best hands he could ever show up with. So when he checks, I'm just like, all right, buddy, you definitely got this one. Sure enough, we get shown the bad news. There's no way in hell that Jack High is going to win this pot. Nice hand, sir. In this next hand, we're playing 2, 5, 10, 20. Button raises to $65, and I'm in the big blind with pocket nines. I'm hunched over like a grandpa with scoliosis. No idea what my posture is in this hand, but I decide to take the aggressive approach and put in a 3-bet to 275. Action folds back to the button, who gives me quite a weird look, then decides to put in a 4-bet to $575. I'll be honest, not really loving life with pocket nines. However, I glanced over at the button. His neck veins looked like they were about to pop out of his throat. You can see in my eyes, I'm like, dude, do you want me to fold or call a paramedic? What's going on here? The more I sat, he really didn't seem comfortable. If he had aces or kings, I don't think he would be this nervous. He could have ace-king, or he could just have like an airball, ace-5, ace-4. I don't know. I'm not ready to give it up quite yet, so I make the call. Flop comes pretty damn good. It's ace-king-queen. That just about kills all hopes and dreams of continuing on a board like this. I check. The button bets $225, and I snap fold. The button flips over 7 deuce. Fuck!
I think it's just something that just puts a little
The legitimate next shuffle, I look down at 7 deuce of clubs myself. I'm thinking, oh my god, there's no way in hell that I'm folding this. I raise the $40, only the straddler calls. Flop comes ace jack 8. This is a board that's going to favor me, yada yada yada. I bet $50, and the straddler quickly folds. I flip it over, I'm like, goddamn right. My 7 deuce was worth significantly less, but I'll take it as a moral victory. It is what it is. Shortly after, we look down at Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds in card form. For anyone who doesn't get that reference, I pick up 10s. They're both 10. I raise to $20. Then I get 3-bet by the button to 50. The small blind cold calls. Then the big blind calls as well. The button had around $500 to start the hand, so this is actually a perfect scenario to put in a 4-bet. I'm thinking if I 4-bet, the button will jam, small blind, big blind fold, I snap call, and we go heads up to a run out. So I 4-bet to 250. You can see the gears turning. He's like, all right, well, this is it. We either double up or go home. I am all in. Small blind folds. Then the big blind says call. The dealer says, huh? He's like, call. The camera cuts back to me. I'm thinking, this pot when open, 3-bet, cold call, 4-bet, 5-bet jam, call. I mean, I have pocket 10s. I think Prestige could just have a hand like ace-king. I think the big blind could also actually have a hand like ace-queen or any 2 overcards that he felt like he didn't want to jam, but he also didn't want to fold, and it put him in a weird spot. So I think these 2 players could actually have each other's outs. The big blind only has $400 behind, so I'd rather just go all in or fold. I don't see the sense in just calling. If any overcard comes on the flop, that's going to suck for me, so I'm all in. The big blind snap calls, and just like that, we have a $2.6 thousand pot. See you at the river. Flop comes 9-9 deuce, turn 8, river. Who really cares? The big blind is pocket 8s, and we're drawing stone dead. The big blind shows like, yeah, I got the pot. In my head, I'm like, yeah, we lose a big flip. This one goes in the direction of not me. Within 1 orbit, another doozy occurs. Matt picks up ace-king first to act. He raises to 35 and gets 2 callers. Action's on me, and I pick up pocket jacks. Oh, God. Pre-flop, Matt is a tight-ass nit. When he opens under the gun, it's just really not good news. But I have a great hand. I don't think I can not 3-bet here. Since I'm out of position with all the dead money, I elect on a sizing of 225. Going on the larger side because people in Texas don't fold ever. Action's back on Matt. He decides to put in the 4-bet to $800. My God. Action quickly folds back to me. I have no idea what to do. This 4-bet is massive. He 4x'd my 3-bet. That is genuinely massive. I'm losing to queens, kings, and aces, and I'm realistically only beating ace-king. Yeah, you're supposed to mix in ace-4 and ace-5, but this kid's never doing it. In the moment, Matt looked over at me and said, Corey, save your money. I'm like, what? He said, Corey, just save your money and fold. I thought he was being a genuine friend in this moment. It sounded so sincere. He's thinking, yeah, you know what? You've been getting beat up tonight. I get it. Just fold. I have you. I was like, fine, buddy, fine. Watching this back, seeing that he had ace-king, he so wanted me to fold. If he had aces or kings, he wouldn't have said a lick, and he would have tried to stack me. Ugh. A few orbits later, the poker gods say, Corey, you butchered that hand. We're going to give you another opportunity. Let's try this again. Hijack limps, cutoff raises to $30, and the small blind calls. Once again, we're going to increase the price of poker. This time, if someone 4-bets, I'm jamming in their I don't care, dude. The hijack limp calls, and the cutoff and small blind fold. So we're going heads up out of position to a flop of queen 6-4. When the hijack limp calls, it's generally indicative of middling pairs, maybe suited connectors. So even though we have second pair, I'm quite confident that I have the best hand. However, I think I would like to play this as a check call, protect my range for when I have ace-king, ace-jack, stuff like that. So I start with a check. The hijack is like, dude, your glasses, they're upside down. What's going on? I'm stone cold. Yeah, my glasses are upside down. I check. What are you going to do about it? He's like, you are an idiot. I bet $100. I look at him like, okay, dude, for sure. That price I can call. I flick in a black chip. See you on the turn, bucko. Turn rips off. Another spade. Now there are 2 flush draws on board. I still feel like I have the best hand, but considering I did bet the flop, it wouldn't make any sense to bet here. So once again, playing this as a check call. The hijack does something a bit unorthodox and bets $2. Then he looks at me and says, what are you going to do about it, bitch? Yep, 2 USD. Not even a legitimate bet. The dealer said, buddy, you can't do that. And so he's like, all right, fine, it. I'll throw out $7. Action gets back to me. I take off my glasses and I'm like, what in the wizard is going on here? I look at him and say, that is a wizard bet. Just a casual $5 into $625. Now I'm like for sure that he has a middling pair. If he had a set or a flush draw, I think he would just bet a bigger normal size. If I check raise the turn, it's really not going to make a whole lot of sense. Considering there's so many draws out here, it's going to look like I have one of them. I do decide to check raise. I elect on a size of $400. Action's back on the hijack and he's thinking, oh man, shit, wow, okay, that actually happened. After giving a little thinky thought, he decides to make the call. And we go off to a river, which comes a really not good card. It is the King of Hearts. Front door flush gets there, and now it introduces another overcard to our pair. I still think I'm going to be good a majority of the time here because I put him on a middling pair, but is there really any value in betting? No, he's just going to fold. So I think if we check, it allows him to turn his hand into a bluff. Maybe we can call. Or maybe he just has a flush and we're losing and our read was completely wrong and we suck at the game. That's not out of the realm of possibilities here. Again, I just see no value in betting, so I start with a check. The hijack thinks for quite a while. I'm thinking he might bet, but ultimately he decides to check it back. We flip it over. We have the winner. Home game vibes. I love it. I love the people at this table. Love the vibes of this game. Very fun stuff. Next, we look down at Queen 9 offsuit in the cutoff. I've been folding for a while, and I genuinely dislike. Believe it or not, when you show up to play poker, the goal is to actually play poker and not just watch everyone else do it. So I raised to $20. The button and big blind make the call. Flop comes 9-9-3. Oh my god, we have trips. I think we're going to be so far ahead of everyone else that we just have to check and pray to God that someone catches up on the turn. Action ends up checking around, and we go off to a turn card, which peels off the 10 of diamonds. Perfect card. Now there are a lot more draws, like Queen Jack, a flush draw. There are some possibilities here. Big Blind checks it over to me once again. I throw out $40, and both of them snap fold. I rake in a small pot, but I will be right back as I want to go slam my head into a locker. We have Queen 7 of diamonds in the big blind. Just buckle up because shit's about to get wild. Blind versus blind, I generally tend to get pretty aggressive. I raise to $40. Matthew makes the call. Flop comes Queen 7 deuce, 2 hearts. Now you might be thinking, Corey, you have smashed this flop. Do you want to check and allow Matt to catch up? The answer to that question, absolutely not. There's a heart draw, which I unblock, so he could be calling with hearts, or realistically, he's going to float with dog piss and try to make a move on later streets, because that's what he does. I start off with a bet of $30. Matt does not think for too long before making the call. Turn rips off just about one of the best in the deck. It's the 9 of clubs. Why is this card good? Well, Matthew, who decided to float the flop with Jack 9 offsuit, has turned a pair. And I have that smoked. So I'm going to continue betting for value. I size up to $150. I'd be doing this with all of my flush draws, all of my draws that now pick up additional equity, like 10-8. A lot of stuff, even airballs, just trying to put pressure on any 7 at this point. Matt thinks about it for a little bit. I have no idea what happened here. The commentators thought he mucked. I thought he mucked. Everyone and their mother thought that Matt mucked, but Matt pulled his cards back, basically did a psych you thought, and makes the call. We go off to a river, which, this is a bit overkill. The river is the Queen of Spades. Matt drove down to Texas in a car. Unlucky for him, I also have a motor vehicle in the shape of a boat. Considering we're so deep and the front door flush missed, I think there's a lot more value in check raising instead of just betting again. Because if he has a missed draw, he's just going to fold, and if he has a queen, he's going to bet. Might as well give him an opportunity to stab at it, and then we can pile more money in if the action gets back to us. I decide to... Matt takes the bait. My buddy slips out $200 into the middle. There is quite a lot of history between me and this son of a bitch over here in the straddle. There is a level upon level upon level. I never, ever have a hand. Why would he ever believe me? So what do you think a reasonable raise here is? I don't care what you think. I make it $1,000. Matt goes deep into the tank. Matt thinks about it, hums and haws. In my head, I'm thinking, there's not a chance this guy lets go of his cards. After a few minutes, he starts punching air numbers. Carry the 3, dot the I, carry the 2. After what feels like an eternity, Matt says, all right, fine, take it, I call. And I'm like, thank you! Really appreciate the donation, buddy. I got a full house. And he's like, we take down a huge pot. This one was quite needed. The stream ended here, but we picked up a few more hands off stream. The only one of note is 10-9 off on the button. I opened at $20. The small blind and big blind call. Match the small blind, by the way, so you already know shit's about to get freaky. Flop comes 8-6 deuce rainbow. Action quickly checks to me. We have a gut shot and 2 overs, so I see no reason to not bet. I bet $20, and of course, Matthew makes the call. Going heads up to a turn card, which peels off the King of Spades. Matt checks it over to me once again. This card is much better for my range than it is for his. If he had any 8 or 6, he's just hating life, because this card should hit me a lot more. I keep the pressure on, betting $60. Once again, he is undeterred and makes the call. Now I'm really just hoping to improve and hit my gut shot, but God knows I don't run that good. It comes another 6. Matt checks it over to me once again. Considering Matt calls everything, I should just check back here, but I was like, you know what, buddy, I took $1,000 from you, so here's $225. Yep, I'm gonna get snap called. Perfect. Yeah, let's just show 10 high. Oh, you have King 10 offsuit? You floated me on the flop with King 10. Nice hand, buddy. I was in the game for 6,000 something, out for 6,000 something. I basically broke even on the day, and that's poker. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.